Working at Nike in the 70s, it must have been wild. I mean, the company was built from scratch, completely from nothing, by Phil Knight, a graduate student, and Bill Bowerman, a coach at the University of Oregon. And in a very short time, this company was able to take down giants like Converse and Adidas. The whole story of Nike is told in this book, Shoe Dog. If you are a follower of my channel, I've been talking about this book so much. And if you're looking for some inspiration and motivation, and you have any sort of interest in things like sports or sneakers like I do, then this book is the book. Now, what Nike managed to do outstandingly well, I would add, was the creation of a working culture that was very unique for the time, and this culture survived until today, and arguably we can say that this culture is what attracts a lot of people to want to work for Nike, as well as a lot of clients who buy into Nike products. Now, on this video, I will share with you the mission statement of Nike that started it all. Hey guys, Fabio Palvelli here with a brand new video. You probably have already heard me talking about mission statements before. And as a designer, I think that a mission statement can really help you defining your vision and can help you achieving clarity, as well as give you a very strong sense of purpose. Now, Phil Knight in the 70s drafted his own mission statement, which he then distributed in copied or printed copied format to each single employee, giving them the order to read it every single day, at least once a day. Also, this statement apparently was kept secret for the longest of times, and he was never supposed to leave the office. But anyway, if you Google it, you can find it on the internet for yourself. So let's go through each single point and let's see what we can make out of this. Point number one, our business is change. Now bear in mind that these were the 70s. The status quo back then for sports shoes was whatever it was that Adidas was bringing to the American market. And so back then Nike already had this idea that if they wanted to do something, they had to completely change the game. And so their approach to footwear and apparel was totally radical. Point number two, we are on offense all the time. This was a time when Nike understood that it made no sense to sit down and wait. The only way to make things happen was to be on the offense all the time. Perfect results count, not a perfect process. Break the rules, fight the law. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Phil Knight had a very long history with the law. I think he was sued by Onitsuga Tiger. I think he sued them back. And then he sued the people that left Nike to go and work for Adidas. Nike knew that in order to make a cake, they had to break some eggs. Point number four. This is as much about battle as it is about business. There is a book called The Art of War. I cannot find it right now, but if you read it, you'll find that oftentimes being in business is like being in a war. And sometimes in order for you to win something, somebody else has to lose something. Point number five. Assume nothing, make sure people keep their promises, push yourself, push others, stretch the possible. One thing that I remember reading about Phil Knight is that he did not like to wait for people to give him answers. And so if he would call somebody on the phone and that person would say, hey, let me think about it. Phil Knight was known for being a very pushy person and ask, what do you have to think about? Can't you just give me an answer now? And I guess that sometimes those who really want something, they'll do everything to get it, and they'll do it fast. Live off the land. This was another very important point for Nike back then. If you have been a professional sport guy, or if you have done any sports in your life, at some point your trainer must have said to you, eat clean, don't drink Coke, don't eat French fries, don't eat candy. And I guess that this live off the land really is inspired by the type of lifestyle that Phil Knight was living up until opening his own company. And as a matter of fact, I know that some of the fights and arguments that he got into with other people that were working for Nike were also due to the lifestyle that some of the Nike employees had. I remember reading about fights between him and Strasser, one of the guys that then went to work for Adidas, and Phil Knight really despised him because of his drinking, because of his smoking. And so I guess that as an athlete, it was very important for Phil to see people living a healthy lifestyle. Your job isn't done until the job is done. Now, bear in mind, these were the 70s, the American dream. People would go to work 9 to 5. They were living a very comfortable lifestyle. Nike was a brand new company, was a young company. And people that were working at Nike, they could not afford to simply work 9 to 5. Their job was to get their job done. This idea that you should not just be an employee, you should be an entrepreneur within a company. Point number 8, dangers: bureaucracy, personal ambition, energy takers versus energy givers, knowing our weaknesses, don't get too many things on the platter. This is almost self-explanatory. Bureaucracy. Phil Knight has always seen bureaucracy as a process that often doesn't bring anything but just delays everything else. Personal ambition. One thing that at Nike they're very focused on is teamwork. And once you prioritize on your own personal ambition, you prioritize on yourself and not on your team. And so this was seen as a problem. Energy takers versus energy givers. We've all been there. Knowing your weaknesses can be a limiting factor, because if you know your weaknesses, you know the places where you're not supposed to go. And sometimes opportunities are in those places. And so knowing our weaknesses within this context can be a very limiting factor. Point number 9, it won't be pretty. Nike was a company where things were a little bit unorthodox. People were not going to work wearing a jacket and a tie. They would wear sweatpants, they would wear shorts, they would wear t-shirts. And the idea is that if you had to go into a 24 hours working day, it did not matter the way you looked. What mattered was the result. And so Phil Knight used to say, look, you might as well come dressed up as an athlete because you'll have to sweat and it won't be pretty. Point number 10, if we do the right things, we will make money. Damn near automatic. I think this was true back then as it is today. Anyway, this is the infamous mission statement of Nike. A lot of people have used this mission statement as an inspiration to write their own mission statement. Now the question is for you guys, do you have a mission statement? Does your company have a mission statement? Do you think that your company has a working culture that resonates with you? And what is it that makes the place where you work or your company a special company? And that's it. That's all I wanted to share for this video. If this is your first time here, please don't forget to subscribe, like this video if you find any inspiration at all. Thanks a lot for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time.